Hey guys, welcome to JasonWhiskyWise with myself, Jason, bringing you whiskey review number 54, where today we're going to review the Highland Park 12-year-old, which is part of their core range. And I have recently just posted that on Twitter that which selection would people like me to do in upcoming videos, and a lot of people said to me do the Highland Park core range. So I'll be doing the core range, the travel retail, some Paul John, Glengoyne, Macallan, Glenfarclas. I've got a lot of whiskies to do, so you guys are going to see a lot of upcoming videos. So yeah, we got the core range. I bought this pack for $29.99, and absolute steal. It contains, I'll just quickly see if I can show you before breaking everything, but yeah, it contains a 15-year-old, the 12, 15, 18, 25, and 30-year-old, and that one should retail on Amazon for around about 80 to 90 pounds. I totally recommend something like this if you want to try the whole range and not dedicate yourself dedicate yourself too quickly to buying the full bottles, because they can get rather pricey, especially when you're looking at the 30 and the 25. You're looking at around about £40 for a dram, so it is very pricey stuff. So Highland Park just rebranded the 12-year-old, named Viking Honor and the hashtag Viking Soul. If you guys also don't follow me on Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, be sure to do so. I'll leave the links just over there. And you can follow me, keep up to date, and see what upcoming reviews and bottles I've just purchased. So that's how the bottle looks over there for the Highland Park 12 rebranded. Really nice design and very interesting look to the actual bottle. They've just made it something a bit more different compared to your standard bottle of the 12-year-old, which just looked like a bigger version of this. So we begin with the age of this whiskey. It starts off as a 12-year-old whiskey. The ABV is bottled at 40% ABV. The cask selection they do use are ex-sherry casks. In terms of the distillery, is the Highland Park Distillery, which you can just see over there. Somewhere I really want to visit, because I really like some of the whiskies from Highland Park. The parent company is the Edrington Group, which also own Macallan and I believe Glenrothes. And in terms of the region it's based is in the islands of Scotland. So an islands whiskey, but the island itself is called the Orkney Islands. And very interesting place. I'll give you a quick summary. The peat they actually use in these whiskies are Orkney peat, and it's completely different from Islay peat. It's much more softer, herbal, sort of heathery peat that you get from those whiskies. And because of the high winds on the Orkney Islands, you don't get anything literally growing very high. You've got very short sort of vegetation and sort of herbal notes that you get when the peat does develop. So completely different from the very heavy, earthy, woody peat that you get from Islay. Now, in terms of the price point of view, you're paying around about £25 for the full-size bottle, which is really good value for money for an entry-level whiskey. I've been reviewing many whiskies at around about £50 for entry-level. Highland Park are literally half that price. Now, in terms of exclusivity, they are not exclusive, available globally, and in terms of caramel colour, there is no colour added. Highland Park keep all their whiskies at natural colour. So very interesting on that note. So very good stuff we like to see. So let's begin with the assessment of the whiskey. And you can see over here I'm using a completely different glass of Capita. I broke 5 glasses the day before yesterday. And just drying a glass can be a bit of a pain. So anyway, in terms of the colour itself, I'm going to go with the golden amber. It doesn't look too light and neither does it look anything darker. So golden amber on the colour. Let's begin by assessing the nose. So initial impressions off the first nosing, this does start off with a very gentle, expressing its peaty note, but it's ever so light or sort of mild peat. It's more towards a sort of soft floral peat, which slightly sort of reminds me of heather. Also has a slight bit of citrus right behind that, which is more towards, let's say, orange blossom, which really plays to the sort of also more floral notes on the nose of this one. You're getting a little bit of that sea spray because of the Orkney Islands and its location. It does impart a little bit of that salty character into the whiskey, but also with a gentle sweetness right behind that. And it reminds me, it's got a little bit of a bitter note as well, more towards, I'd say, Mayuka honey, quite a heavy, syrupy honey on that one. But really quite mild nose on this one, really easy to pick out all the flavours. So we'll next move into the palate for this whiskey. So into the palate for this whiskey, it does begin out with a nice sort of very distinctive maritime character of the sea saltiness, a little bit of that briny note all over the palate, working in and out, and then you get a little bit of the citrusy notes coming through, more towards, let's say, orange and grapefruit, but more towards the peels actually, with a little bit of a waxy note as well to it. Right behind that I'm getting a little sweeter but slightly toasted charred pineapple, as if you put it onto a barbecue and let through the slices and just get that little bit of sweetness, but a little bit of that smoky note as well. And that light sort of floral peat is sort of heathery peat is just sitting on the back with a little dollop of honey over there. Very, very, very enjoyable first tasting. So let's next move into the finish of this whiskey and we'll come to my overall conclusions. So to begin the finish of this whiskey, it does start out again with a sort of salty characters, more on a medium finish for this whiskey, as it does linger around for a little bit and then fades ever so softly. I'm getting a little bit of what reminds me of charred pine wood, or a little bit, if you sort of burn the edges of a bit of pine wood, that sort of note you get on the finish of this one as it lingers around the palate. A slight iodine note, but it's ever so gentle, nowhere near the sort of Isla iodine that you get on the palate. And a combination of wood spices with a little sweetness of honey blossoms floral notes, just ending and sort of rolling all over the palate. So on that note, I'm going to give my overall rating for this whiskey, and I'm going to go over here. Hopefully I'm going to actually be able to see this one last time, because I saw my last video, I didn't see the rating very distinctively. I'm going to give this one an 88 out of 100. Reason behind this one is very, very well balanced for an entry-level whiskey. The price point is absolutely fantastic at £25. I think that you can't go wrong with a bottle of Highland Park 12. In terms of also, for a person who's not into peated whiskies, or you're just trying to get started into moving into that area, this would be a fantastic choice in terms of actually understanding a little bit of that peaty character, but at the same time enjoying the characters of citrus notes, a little bit of salty notes, and really just changing your palate. And for someone even who has an experienced whiskey drinker, you'll find this really, really enjoyable. Well, on that note, I'm going to leave the video there. As I said, value for money, completely yes. Great price point from Highland Park. And it's a really good introduction whiskey as well. But on that note, I'm going to wrap the video up here, have this last bit of the whiskey, and the next video we'll move into the Highland Park 15. But on that note, if you have enjoyed the video, by all means, feel free to drop it a like. Be sure to subscribe, which I'll leave over here, and be sure to check out the latest videos, which will all be here from Highland Park. So, down there. So anyway, this has been Jason WhiskyWise, and I'll catch you all for the next video.